Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Reddit episode of Am I the Bad Person? And today we're going to be talking about how to deal with changes in your family structure. So today we have a few questions about, for example, step siblings, which is a big turning point for many people. So let's dive right into it. So the first one is, am I the bad person for not choosing my stepsister as my school project partner? My 16F mom got married when I was 8 to her husband. I have a stepsister the same age as me. Before high school, we never shared classes, but now we have 3 together. And in one of them, our teacher always lets us choose who to partner with for projects. We also get a study buddy, like our teacher calls it. Basically, one Friday a month, we get class where we pair up with our study buddy to study stuff. Because we always get to choose, I always choose my best friend, and she always chooses me. We're study buddies, and we're project partners every time in this class. My stepsister doesn't have any really close friends, and she struggles to find project partners sometimes. On Friday, we were asked to choose a project partner to work with for the next 2 months, on a big project our teacher wants us to do in pairs. My best friend and I chose each other like always. There were 4 kids left who had nobody to naturally pair up with, and my stepsister was one of them. She told the teacher she wanted me, but my teacher said I had already chosen my project partner, and she had 3 other kids to choose from. My stepsister really didn't want to work with the 3 choices she had, so the teacher asked if I swap partners for this project and work with my stepsister. I said no. My best friend said no too. She said we work really well together. When I got home after school and work Friday, my mom was waiting for me and she pulled me into the office and asked me why I didn't choose my stepsister as my project partner. She said she knew I was asked and given the choice to change and I wouldn't. She told me after 8 years of being sisters, I should have an equally close, if not closer relationship to her than my best friend, who I met in pre-K. And I shouldn't find it so easy to say no to my stepsister. I said I enjoy working with my best friend and we work well together, and I didn't want to change that or work with my stepsister. My mom took my phone all weekend as a consequence, and her husband told me like 10 times they expect us to pit each other before any friendships because we're family. He told me the way I act, you think my best friend is my sister instead of my stepsister. My stepsister won't shut up about how sucky her partner is and how angry she is that I wouldn't partner with her. Am I the bad person? So I'm gonna come right off the bat and say that you are the bad person, and I'll tell you why. So basically, I understand that you have a best friend who you've known all your life effectively since pre-K, but at the same time, you do have a responsibility as a sister, whether it's a stepsister or a biological sister, to always be there for your family as well, especially when during their times of need. So in this instance, when she had a time of need, which was, to have a partner and someone she would feel comfortable doing the project with, you effectively abandoned her. So, you kind of said like, hey, like I have my best friend and I have this project, and you felt the need that, you should put your own best interest first before hers. So sometimes you have to weigh the options where you have to say, do I put myself first or do I put my family first? And sometimes it sounds tough to say this, but sometimes you have to put your family first, because sometimes putting yourself first may seem like the best and logical choice, but in the long run, you're going to lose a lot of your relationships with your family doing this. Putting yourself first all the time will not make it so, in the long run, you're going to be happy with your family. These decisions will come back to haunt you, whether it's small, something like this, like a project, or you abandoning your family because of monetary needs or anything like that. All of these things will rack up, and then you'll feel the guilt after a long run. So I would say hopefully at one point the person in the story will realize this, and hopefully will reconnect with their stepsister. Am I the bad person for making birthday treats for my bio siblings but not my step siblings? When I, 16M, was 10, my mom got married and made a blended family with her husband, Kev. Mom brought me my younger sister, 14F, and younger brother, 12M. Kev brought his 2 kids, Elle and Ryan, 9, Kel, 8, and Ryan, 9. Elle and Ryan's mom died too, and every summer they flew out a few times to spend time with their maternal relatives in another state. Me and my siblings also lost our dad, but we get to see his family all the time because they live close. When my dad was alive, he used to make us birthday treats every year. There was something all three of us remembered, but mom was never good at making them. So the tradition died, and this year I decided to work harder at making them good so I could make them for my siblings. My step siblings weren't here on my siblings' actual birthdays. Both have summer birthdays, so they never saw me give the treats. But I made sure to make a lot for my sister and my brother's birthday this year. My mom and Kev knew I worked on them, and they made me make and give them to my siblings on their birthdays. Yesterday was Elle's birthday, and I didn't make her any. My mom asked me about it, and I said it was something I did for my siblings because Dad used to put Elle and Ryan were never part of that. She got a little sad and told me she'd like to think of us all as siblings. I said Elle and Ryan more like cousins, which made Mom sadder. She asked me if this birthday treats were something I'd even consider doing for Elle and Ryan, and I told her it wouldn't be my choice if I did. Kev was listening to us talk, and he told me it's crappy that I consider Elle and Ryan as lesser than my bio siblings. He said they don't remember the time before we were all one family, and I shouldn't be hard to love them just as much and treat them all the same. I brought up the fact it's always been different, and I was always closer to my siblings. He told me to stop saying that because they're all my siblings. Mom told Kev to calm down. She said it was sad I felt that way, and then Kev said it's pretty clear my sister and brother feel the same too. When they talked about me needing the treats for my birthday, but never mentioned Elle and Ryan. She told me my step-siblings might not know, but eventually they will, and be responsible for making them feel less important siblings, because to them we're all siblings, not step-siblings or cousins, siblings. Am I the bad person? So this is a rarity, but I'm going to say with this one that you are the bad person, because essentially, even though this was a change, brought about by your mom, and you now are a big family, I would say yes, treating a step sibling as someone that's less than a sibling is not something you want to do, especially as I mentioned, it's hard to say that what life is going to throw at you, and there's only so much cherished memories you can have with each other. So at one point, there's going to be a time where you're going to look back at these memories, whether it's like with your step siblings, your actual siblings, whatever you want to say, but effectively you're all siblings in nature now that you're part of one roof. So it's important to share and cherish these memories together, and especially in the long run when things become difficult, or even when things are good, such as like getting married or having get-togethers. It's always good to remain on good terms with everyone, especially if they're people who effectively are doing no wrong to you, people who they want to spend time with you, they want to build relationships with you. So it's important to cherish these relationships and these memories with people you love, and make sure that you're doing your best to accommodate them if you can. Even as simple as baking them goods or making them treats. I think this is all very beautiful things that you should be doing with your family. Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and I'm the host of TheLostSanctuary. I hope you've been enjoying our content so far, and if you have, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also, we have our website up here, and we also have some socials down here, and as always, leave your comments down below. Am I the bad person for picking my stepdad over my biological father? I, 28F, have been dating my boyfriend, 30M, for almost 2 years now. A couple of weeks ago, I had a girls' night with my best friend, mom, and sister, where we sparked a conversation about when I thought we would get engaged and married. About 45 minutes after, I received a call from my biological father. Let's call him Paul. I stepped away and answered his call. The call started off with a typical, "How are you? And what have you been up to?" My normal response is to tell him what I am doing for the time being, which I did. I told him I was having girls' night and jokingly mentioned that we're teasing about me getting married soon. He responded with, "You should. I can't wait to walk my daughter down the aisle." For some backstory, my mom met Paul while visiting some family out of state. She went back again to visit him a few times when she got pregnant with me. She came home to have me, and Paul never came to see me or visit after I was born. My mom started dating my dad, her on and off boyfriend, let's call him Steve, when I was only a few months old. Steve has been my dad since then. He then raised me and taken care of me all of my life. I didn't really know that Paul was my biological father until I was about 8. I still have no real relationship with him since that day. As I got older, we have had some communication, but nothing very consistent. So when he mentioned wanting to walk me down the aisle one day when I got married, I was caught off guard. I cleared my throat and told Paul that although I would love for him to attend, I would be asking Steve to walk me whenever that day was to come. I could tell he was more or less angry when he came back and said, "But he's not your father." "I am." Before the conversation could get more heated, I simply stated that Steve is indeed my father, and I was going to hang up the phone. I hung up and went on with my girls' night, not giving the conversation another thought, until 3 days later, I got a long text from Paul explaining why Steve shouldn't be allowed to walk me down the aisle, and how I was insensitive by not thinking he would want to walk with me. I haven't responded yet, but he keeps having my sister's Paul's other daughter try and contact me to say I should see it from his point of view. Am I the bad person? So I would say in this scenario, you are not the bad person, and I'll explain why. Sometimes there's going to be times where, even your own biological family will let you down, and you're going to feel the pain of, them abandoning you, them trampling on your feelings, taking advantage of you. All of these items are very important to understand when you're looking at this person's perspective. So effectively, all she had effectively as an actual biological father was her stepdad, Steve. So I would say in this instance, sometimes, even though blood is thicker than water in this instance, I would say Steve is more of a father in this regard because he raised her. He effectively contributed his time, his love, his assets, everything that a father should do. And I would say Steve is definitely more of a father than Paul in this instance. So I would say definitely you're not the bad person. And I'm wishing you all the best in your upcoming day. Hopefully, when you do get married, you have the best time, and I'm wishing you all the best on that. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm wishing everyone out there all the best. All right, until next time, adios.